Keep sending Anthony Blinken to the Middle East, to Israel, to try to work up some sort of ceasefire here, and it keeps coming up blanks, but I don't know what he expects to achieve. Benjamin Netanyahu rejected the Hamas ceasefire demands, vowing to fight until absolute victory. Again, many people might think that this is, how shall I put it, going too far, needs to come with some sort of solution. And I would ask these same people, I'm just putting it out there, if we were attacked, let's say, in similar fashion by a nation bordering us, what would we do? How would we allow that group to remain, that political party to remain in power? I highly doubt that. Highly doubt that. Again, Netanyahu met with Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, met with leaders of Qatar and Egypt. Very serious diplomatic push. The proposal that Hamas presented was a 3-stage ceasefire that would last for 135 days and culminate in the end of the war. And I quote, surrendering to Hamas's delusional demands that we heard now not only won't lead to freeing the captives, it will just invite another massacre. Netanyahu said in a nationally televised news conference not long ago today. We are on the way to absolute victory, adding the war would last months, not years. There is no other solution. He ruled out any other arrangement that leaves Hamas in full or partial control of Gaza. He also said that Israel is the only power capable of guaranteeing Gazan security in the long term. He said that Blinken said a lot of work remains to bridge the gap between Israel and Hamas on terms for any deal. He's expected to hold his own news conference later, either today or tomorrow. Again, the proposal here, I'll go through this here. The Hamas proposal, 3 phases, each lasting 45 days. First phase would see the release of all Israeli women hostages, males under 19, elderly, and the sick in exchange for the release of Palestinian women and children from Israeli jails. All remaining Israeli male hostages would be released during the second phase, and the remains of prisoners, hostages, and soldiers exchanged in the third phase. By the end of the third phase, Hamas would expect the sides to have reached agreement on the end of the war. Hamas demanded the release of 1,500 prisoners. Many of these have life sentences handed down because of terrorist activity. These are people that have murdered and terrorized Israeli citizens. That's not a serious proposal, quite frankly. I know Netanyahu and people in power in Israel, they're getting pressure from some of the families of people that have taken hostage to do anything to get them to release it, and I understand that. I understand, could completely understand why, they want to have that happen. But, you're leading a country here. You're going to open up the prisons. Same group of people in charge. They're just going to go back to doing what they did before. I've explained this and talked about this for some time. Either you win or you don't. There's no in between when it comes to no negotiated settlement, negotiated truce. The sooner that happens, the quicker you're going to see some sort of peace. And what I've also talked about in regards to this Palestine, Palestinians, West Bank, you got a nice piece of real estate there. And everybody's throwing this question out there. Why is it that you get all of this money in that region? Why wouldn't Saudi Arabia, the UAE say, hey, you know what? We're taking over. We're going to come in. We're going to volunteer, and we're going to come in, and we are going to take over. We're going to make this thing run. They're not doing it because I don't think that they believe that they can. I don't think that they believe that they can get through the ideology in that area, in that region. I don't think that they think it's possible. I mean, you got to think about it. The beachfront land, Mediterranean. I mean, right there. You know, why can't a few of these nations come in and say, hey, you know what? We're going to manage this zone for a period of time. We're going to rebuild it. We're going to create prosperity. Why aren't they willing to do that? Why is anybody asking that question? You got a tiny little area there. And again, same religion, same people. What do you like? There's a specific Palestinian people. What, you like to say there's a specific people, Rhode Islanders versus people from New Hampshire? I mean, it's absurd. They know. It'd be kind of like, I think about it this way. It'd be kind of like somebody saying, hey, Chris, why don't you take over some liberal? Why don't you take over Portland, Oregon? Nah, no thanks. Don't want it. I don't want any part of that nonsense. Because again, you're dealing with the ideology. Until there is, I've been about this from the get-go. As much as I hate it, I can't stand it. We all see the death and everything that's going on there. Unless you have a victor, you're just going to revisit this, quite frankly, in the near future. WatchDog on WallStreet.com.